I did not realize until I just started talking there. My throat is demolished. Let's go, baby. No, my Sprigatito plush. Oh, dear God, my other fucking plushes. No, my plushes are falling off the monitors. Oh, no. Oh, and the match already loaded, so I have to wait to... Okay. That's fine. I can tell it's been a while since I played this character, since this is not a typical item set I'd use, but don't hate it. Will say, I think I'll only ever use Windows of Opportunity when I am not recording. Like, when I'm streaming or on my own, I might keep it on. But, like, this shit ruins thumbnails. Like, look at that. I do feel bad for the killer, because we did all go Kate, but you know what? That's just the way it goes. I load into a match with no one but Kate, so I'm not going to be the odd one out. Someone has to change, and in that case, it's me. Hello, Gessapina. Welcome. Sorry if my throat sounds scratchy. I don't know what happened. I went to the doctors for blood work like 2 days ago, and I have had a cough and a sore throat since. So I think actually I know exactly what happened. Oh, I cannot laugh like that. That is not good for my vocal cords. How you doing? Everything been alright lately? I would consider a Toyota Corolla test. Toyota Corolla, would that be... Oh, as in like... Do you mean like TC as in tuberculosis? Or is this a way to go around the way of saying COVID? Oh wait, no, tuberculosis is TB. And also, if you were mentioning TB, I did actually take a tuberculosis test not too terribly long ago, because I had to do that for a potential job. COVID, yeah, I just call it that because I'm odd. That's fair. I will occasionally still bust out the tried and true classic of the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, because back around the time that that first started, Game Grumps had a super good frickin' live action series that was like the 10-minute Power Hour or whatever. And I watched that a bunch, and then they stopped doing it because COVID kind of prevented them from being able to do it. Which makes sense, because you can't do shit with a team of people. And I have not watched them since, I'm gonna be honest. It's one of those channels that I am only subscribed to because I have been subscribed to it since, like, 2014. There are very few channels I do that with, though. I mean, there are, like, 2 channels that I've been subscribed to since, like... God, 2010? Maybe? But, like... There's a lot of stuff I grow out of, and stuff that gets worse. Their stuff has kind of just been consistent. It's been consistently alright. And there's some old stuff that I always want to go back to, even if I never do. I still have yet to see whatever the killer in this match is. genuinely barely watch the stuff in my sub feed for some reason. I usually watch whatever the wind takes me to. You know what? I'll be honest. I'm typically the same way at this point. I used to check in, like, my sub feed, like, every day. But less and less creators do, like, daily uploads. They figured out different ways and more healthy ways to produce their content. Oh, it's a Chucky. So, like, I don't do that anymore. So I'll just typically see what's on the front page. And that's typically where I get stuff now. I mean, that's the entire reason I like Scott the Woz now, is because one time I saw his stuff on my my home feed, and I was like, you know what? White boy, tell me what you can do. And, you know, turns out, shouldn't have doubted it. Does it very well, actually. There were, you know, I think the last channel I watched, like, on a daily basis, checking in, and even it was, like, an outlier, was frickin' Unis Honest. Like, no other channel has done that for me in such, like, a long time. Even creators are like Scott the Woz on sub too. I usually end up watching videos only when they're a random encounter. Straight up, I never watch things when they come out initially. Like, I love Snapcube. I can't watch their videos on day one. Like, she is phenomenal, and I love all of their work. But, like, and by they, I mean, like, collective, like, all of Clown House and stuff. I can never watch, like, that group's stuff on day one. I just can't. My brain can't vibe with it. For some reason, I watch it all later. What? Get off of that generator. Okay, they're going for the other person. That's fine then. That's less fine. I watched a, I watched the Snapcube frickin', Sonic Adventure 2 dub day one, and I think that was the only... I watched, like, half of the Riders dub day one, but my brain wouldn't let me watch beyond that. I couldn't for some reason. But yeah, I hate to say that, you know, I'm a Snapcube old head, like, straight up, I'm a Snapcube hipster. No, I was there since day one. This is bad for me. I don't think I make anything. Maybe. That did not work as effectively as I had hoped it would. What the hell? I had a whole life there and it just didn't... I didn't close... I didn't, like, widen the gap at all, bro. I ever so occasionally watch... My watch later is not for watching later. My watch later is straight up for like, oh, this is a video I like. I'm just gonna put it here. We have the favorites, which is everything from all the time. Watch later is the massive, like, that's the honor, the place of honor. I will say there's one sad thing about being a fan of Penny Parker from back in the day, is that she's deleted a lot of her old stuff, including the name Penny Parker. She kind of decided on that name mid playthrough of a game, and it was just like so cute, and that's been deleted. I guess she probably wants less stuff with like her old name in it. Even like her old chosen name, but it does suck that it's like, oh, I can never see that ever again. But that's fine. That's just how it be. I am not entitled to content from these people. Makes sense with that, yeah. It's weird to me, it's like, her stuff with, like, Go Child is still under her old name. And by old name, I mean old chosen name. I don't think her dumb dead name is out there, which is good. I'm sure my dead name is out there somewhere, but I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. That is my strategy. But yeah, like, some stuff still exists. And there's, I think it might even be less than that. Because, like, some stuff is still up under that old name. Like, several of her old things are still up. Like, she actually still has a bunch of her old socials still up. Like, the old Twitter now just redirects to her new Twitter. But there's also stuff like, her guessing the name of JoJo stands on Ryan's channel. Like, that's just literally, the first, I think it's the first word in the title of that video is, old Penny Parker. So I feel like it might less be the name and just more she is a perfectionist with her content. I don't know. It's not something to really... It's not something I really care too much about. Her own reasons for whatever are completely valid no matter what, because it's her shit to do whatever the fuck she wants to do with. I will say, the one really fun one there is, the person who plays several characters in, the fan-dub series, as well as being an awesome, co-host on Penny's channel as well. The voice of the Devil and Mephiles, or Memphis, Tennessee, she actually recently came out as also trans femme. Their name is Scout now, and I think it's really funny because Snapcube used to have, like, it was a stream series of like 2 that was like Sleepy Girl Squad, which was Penny and Joy, and then Scout was in one of those. It was Sleepy Girl Squad and also Scout. So, turns out, they were actually part of that the whole time. I think it's always fun when stuff like that works out. That's just very cute to me. The one issue, and it's not an issue, is I was working on an animation, and the news about them transitioning came out, like, when I was like 85% done with the animation, and they updated their Sona as well, and I was like, oh, well, this is never seeing the light of day. Cheryl, please stop body blocking me. What the fuck is wrong with you? Please stop. Oh well. Okay, abandon that gen and go find somewhere else. This'll work. Oh, bones. I don't even know if I have, like, a channel I reliably go to for content anymore. Like, I'm trying to think about it. Damn it, I should have not thought as hard. Darva, I watch all of their stuff pretty much as soon as it comes out. That's a definite one. I'm gonna have to just scroll through my YouTube subscriptions. Let's see. That is quite literally it. Okay, good. Hello, friend. Oh. Oh. I tried. Oh well. I have an issue with subscribing to small VTubers than never fucking watching any of them. You watch me, surprisingly. And I will admit, I follow a bunch of small VTubers on Instagram just because I like their clips, and then I never actually go engage with their streams or YouTube videos. My brain just doesn't. It disconnects those. Once in a blue moon, I'll actually tune into someone's stream I followed and stay. The vibe just gotta be right. Well, I appreciate you saying that my vibe is right. I don't think anyone would say that my vibe is right other than you. I think everyone else would say, oh, that bitch is insane. So thank you. Sanity is for cowards. Me playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Running headfirst directly into the monster. I am a special type of insane. Also, being a little odd in one way or another is a perfect trait for a VTuber. Yeah, that's true. Very true. That was Surge from that far? Damn. Unless that may have actually been Eruption, now that I think about it. What sucks is I am the best person to go for this rescue right now. And no one else was on that gen, so I needed to finish that. What's funny is my low effort, quote unquote, VTuber model is this Game Boy inspired one, because it has like it doesn't track or anything. I have to do all of this manually. I have to tab out and change the GIFs that this broadcasting program uses. I have to do that manually. And yet, it is objectively a better thing for me to use as a VTuber because it is different. And so many people complain about just, like, something that is not, like, important at all, in my opinion, which is, like, a lot of people complain if a VTuber model is just, like, a girl. When realistically, that's how all of them started. Like, all of these VTubers all just started as just regular frickin' anime women. And that's okay. That's like a very dumb thing that I saw so much. Like last year was people there holy shit, women is like people are that's yeah. People were complaining last December because like there was a VTuber that went viral, just like one of her clips went viral, and she had a design of just like mimicking old Rubber Hose cartoons, which was very cool. And everyone, for some reason, everyone on Twitter was like, you see, this is what VTubers could be doing, but instead they're just all generic anime cat girls, and it's just like, girl, there is a different market niche for most of these things. And I'm going to be honest, most of the reason people do VTubers is just because they don't want to share their face online, but they still want a way to, like, be expressive. Like, that is the entire reason I do it. I understand some people do it for, like, a gimmick or whatever. I feel bad for that VTuber, because she probably got a lot of unnecessary hate from that, just from being, like, surrounded by people being dumb over some absolute, like, meaningless stuff. Like, there is no reason to be salty about different designs. Like, I think a lot of people see VTubers in general as some sort of, like, get-rich-quick YouTube thing, when it's not. It's just another avatar for people to display themselves. Believe me, you do not get rich quick from this shit. I've been at it for... I think this is now going to be, at the end of the year, it's going to be 4 years. We just passed 3, I think. Not everyone has a brilliant original concept for a VTuber. Theming is cool and all, but an actual streamer is more important. Yeah, that's very true. Like, where the theme evolves over time. because straight up, I started with just a very basic model, and then I moved over to using a zombie-based model, because I was doing, like, I made a special model for Halloween, and I was like, you know what, I actually like this more than my regular one, so how about I just continue using it? So I did. And the Game Boy, the Game Boy idea was because of, I wanted to stream old Game Boy games and do more of that, which is something we have done. It's just something I haven't done in a while, just because I haven't had the energy for it. And eventually it just became my main one to use, because, well, it ends up being about as much effort as the regular one. And also it, like, it isn't reliant on a dumb program to work. It just works in my recording to begin with, so, like, yeah. And yeah, the streamer themselves is far more important. There are some streamers that I say that have models I wouldn't call great, that I still very much enjoy. Know a VTuber who went from failed circus performer to fucking clown mafia boss? The lore sometimes just evolves naturally. Yeah, exactly. The official the official lore for my VTubers is that during the process of me playing Metroid Dread, I died for real and became a zombie. And then somewhere along the way, the zombie virus gave me cat ears, and then I got digitized into a Game Boy, and that's just what happens. Average Thursday night, frankly. Honestly, good lore, thank you. That is true. I played a bit of Metroid Dread, and then straight up, I did not, I was not good enough at it, and I died way too many times, so I just, like, I gave up. I know people love that game, but, like, I just couldn't really get into it. Some people also just don't have fucking lore. Yeah. And that's also okay. Could never really get into Metroid, not my kind of game. That's completely fair. I've wanted to try out the games a lot more. And I want to support them because, like, Nintendo doing franchises that aren't the same three that they care about, like, that is important. I want to see more variety from them. But in general, Metroid Dread, God, I got to one boss fight in that, and I died so many times for so long that I was just like, I don't want to play this anymore. Like, if I have to just, like, learn a pattern and just, like, execute this pattern perfectly with no flaws for, like, a solid 10 minutes just to, like, move on when the boss fight itself isn't even fun, I don't think it's my kind of game. I just get fucking lost. Yeah, that too. Especially since the first Metroid doesn't have a map. You would have to make one of your own, which is just... I don't understand why all of these developers think that you just have graph paper. Like, was that just a thing in the 80s? Did people just own graph paper? Like, is that a thing? Because, like, Sega frickin' Master System boxes are graph paper. Sega Genesis box art is also graph paper, but it's inverted. It's black and white. Until it wasn't. Then it became red with pink ribbons. I have poor navigation with a fucking map with markers. Yep. The best version of Metroid, the original Metroid, is a Game Boy Advance remake called Zero Mission. And people are like, play that one because it has a fucking map. Genuinely. That is the only reason people recommend it. Other than the fact it looks better, controls better, quality of life improvements. It's just one of those things. I cannot believe 2 generators spawned that close together. That's ridiculous. That's literally one, like... I could defend this as a huntress, standing down this hallway. Just have a hatchet at the ready. Every day I realize more and more how deranged my phone gallery is. Yeah, same. My phone gallery is memes dating back to 2016 and pictures of anime figures that I would send to friends and be like, hey, look at this cool new thing I got. And also video recordings for any of the live action stuff I do. My favorite thing is, this has been the case for several years now, and I'm like, I think it's too funny to ever change it. Like, the iPhone has, like, this memories thing that shows, like, oh, here are some of your highlights in your photo gallery. And one of them, for me, it's always the first image. It's like when you scroll over, it is at the top of everything. It's always there. It's a picture of Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger in Black Panther. And I just think it's funny because he's doing it the you know I had to do it to him pose in fucking... He's in the fucking Saiyan armor that outfit's based off of. And it's just, like, it's so funny to me. Anytime I pick up my phone and scroll over on my home screen to the left, it's just, like, the top quarter of my screen is a picture of Michael B. Jordan that just says, your year in photos or whatever. It's like, that is from when Black Panther initially came out. That is not my year in photos. 34 fucking images in one day from a fake propaganda war I helped fuel for my own amusement. Well, that's normal. Like, everyone does that. Like, the 34 images, like, it just happens to everyone. It's just, like, some sort of, like, mental thing we go through. Look up Rule 34 for more information. Why? Why is it always... Well, it's always something like this. It's never anything normal. It's always something like the fake assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Brat's doll of frickin' Osama bin Laden. It's always something. I respect it. Someone else needs to go for that, unfortunately. What do I do? Oh, I'm surprised that didn't hit me. Okay, God. Please understand how incredibly frickin' funny all of the... with no context, please understand how funny that is. Like... God. This is what people on Twitter do to, like, real people. Meanwhile, you're doing it to a fictional person. I understand if I gave context, it would probably be funnier. I don't know. A lot of things are funnier without context. It's like... The scene in JoJo where Josuke gets shot by a piece of paper. For a lot of people, that's just funny, and they like the fact that there's no context to it. It's not funny with context. It's just a thing that happens. You're more just like, oh, shit. Funniest one had to be when I edited them killing Bruce Wayne's parents and their PNG was in the corner. Like, they were live reacting. Live Tucker reaction. The killing of Bruce Wayne's parents. Oh my god. That is 100%. That is a thing that would exist. If the writers of comics were not cowards, they would do that. 100%. They would parody that image. I think the funniest part about that image is that, like, divorced from everything, it's still funny. When you provide context, it's over him finding the green M&M attractive. Like... God. Live shadow reaction. The death of Maria in Sonic Movie 3. This is what the fella looks like, by the way. Don't worry, this propaganda game was all... Oh, it was like for... oh. That build just died. Uh-oh. My bad. Oh well. Okay, sorry about that. I had to mute for a cough real quick. If it was for a streamer, that's actually pretty cool, too. 1 second. I think I'm actually going... It was all impromptu. Triggered by series of events God doesn't understand. makes sense. That's, yeah, completely understand. I'm gonna, after I, okay. I'm gonna BRB real quick. I'm gonna go get some water, because I keep coughing, and I'm just like, I need to go resolve that issue. Hello, I am back. There we are. So, I have a job interview tomorrow. Luckily, it's a group interview, so if I still have this cough and sore throat tomorrow, it won't be that big of a deal. I hate group interviews, but gotta take what I can get. And I've done this with Aldi before. It's basically like a formality more than anything. I don't know what's up with them, but like you straight up go in for a group interview, and then like a week later they'll call you in for a regular interview. Because the group interview is basically like, it's almost like preemptive training. It's just like going through everything that you would do on the job, when it's just like, man, I know this. I know how to do this. Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah. True. True. I have tried playing Shadow the Hedgehog on this channel so many times. Every time I try to record it, something happens. It's always something like weird. It's like the emulation will crash. Like, it's mainly the emulation will crash. I theoretically could set up my GameCube up here, but I don't want to. That's realistically... There's a solution to this problem, but I don't want to put through the effort to create the solution. High-res corn graphics. Corn. Hell yeah. Oh my, there's corn everywhere. There's a box over there, there's a box there, there's a box there. Dead Man switched. Thank you, Alan. Stay right here. So what do you think of the Generations remaster? I can't wait to pay $60 for a game I already bought for like 10 for what will likely be 4 more hours of content at most. I'm gonna be honest, like, Generations is by far my favorite Sonic game. And in complete and utter truth, I don't know if I want to even play it again. Like, I enjoy it, I think it's great, but do I specifically have the desire to play this game again? I don't know. Like, it's good. I love it, like, a lot, but, like, I don't know. Okay. Oof, okay, Pallet's here. Just want the shadow content since it looks cool. The funny thing about it is, apparently, it is built on a completely different engine than the original Sonic Generations. And Sonic Generations, the remaster part, is still running the original software, like the original engine. So quite literally, it's basically like Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, where it's just like another campaign they added, but they added a remaster to it so it would sell better. So yeah, basically it is the original Sonic Generations with like a patch, and then the new Shadow content. And part of that is most likely because the engine that Sonic Generations is built off of, Sega lost the code for, which is the reason why there's Hedgehog Engine 1 and 2, is because they lost the code for the original engine. World's smartest developers. Absolutely not. Do not sit on... No, no, no. Literally, stop doing that. Stop doing the things that you do. Oh, hi. There's no way. Okay. Yeah, but they didn't really, like... They didn't even really remaster... Thinking how that shit came out in the 2010s, you'd think they would have learned their lesson after losing source code several times before. Sega. Sega makes bad decisions constantly. That's the correct answer, I believe. Sega is completely... true, that is why Sega does what Nintendo don't. This is true. I mean, I'll be honest, ever since, like... Literally ever since the end of the Genesis, they've been making terrible decisions, which is why they don't make consoles anymore. Like, straight up, like, that's the thing about it, is, like... Sega knew how to market the Genesis, they knew how to make the Genesis cool, they knew how to use the market there. And then, when it came to frickin', when it came to, what's it called? The Saturn, the Dreamcast, they completely dropped the ball. I think, honestly, what ended up killing Sega was the fact that the Saturn didn't have a killer app. Like, genuinely, like, the killer apps for the Saturn were, like, Panzer Dragoon and Nights into Dreams. And those were not, like, huge franchises or whatever. If they had... And hell, even if Sonic Extreme did end up existing, like, I don't know, like, if it would have been able to even compete still. Honestly, they started fucking up during the Genesis era, too, with all the goddamn add-ons. They wanted to stretch the lifespan of the Genesis as long as humanly possible so that they could continue developing the Saturn and the Neptune and everything. Like, that was their end goal, was just delay until their better system came. Oh shit, he turned around. I couldn't do anything there. I tried, though. Oh well. But yeah, the 32X and the Sega CD, like, they did not help Sega's reputation. And then especially with the Sega Saturn releasing so close to both of those add-ons, like, existing, a lot of people didn't want to buy into the Saturn because they were like, well, it's just going to be abandoned like the 32X was. But the Sega CD did do well enough because FMV games were, like, huge at the time. Like, they genuinely were. Like, that was a huge thing in the arcade. It was a huge thing, like, people wanted that in the home console. Like, things like the Philips CDI 100% made sense originally. It just so happened that beyond marketing hype, there was no substance behind them. Like, there's a reason why the Super Nintendo CD never came out. It was just like, they couldn't find any reason that it would be worthwhile. I mean, also the Saturn had no fucking games anyone has ever heard of. They had Tomb Raider and Gex. And both of those were 3DO games. Please, here. Well, it didn't spawn there, so I'm probably fucked. Oh, there it is. Also, people did like Daytona USA and Virtua Fighter. Those were popular. And then the PlayStation and Tekken came out and Ridge Racer came out. And then the Sega Saturn ceased to be instantly. It's honestly impressive how quickly the Saturn failed. And, like, Nintendo didn't do well that generation either. The N64 literally only had Nintendo supporting it. No other developer made games for the Nintendo 64. The fact that it got fucking Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 is insane. Like, it was the work that Capcom put into porting Resident Evil to the work that went into Resident Evil on the frickin' N64 is insane. Capcom would never do that shit again. That is more effort than Capcom has put into their past 27 games. PS1 coming out fucked up everything for everyone else. Yeah, and you can basically just blame... You can basically blame, like, honestly, blame it on Nintendo for realizing too late that Sony gave them a fucked up deal with their CD add-on. And then, yeah, the rest is history. Capcom too busy adding DRM to games. That's true. God. They're too busy. Then the PS2 came out and sweeped again. Yep. PS2 killed any chance of Sega ever recovering. And the GameCube... The GameCube died just because of its proprietary format. If it had DVD support, it would have been fine. The PS3 came out and they ate shit. Yeah, apparently at the end of everything, the PS3 outsold the 360. But, like, God, they 100% lost that console war right there. Like, straight up. Like, it doesn't matter how well you recovered. If your main category competitor launched a console that had a failure rate of 70% and you didn't outsell them immediately and put them out of business, you fucked up. You fucked up bad. Like, oh my God, it's like embarrassing. Like, if you look at the numbers, I mean, weren't they cooking at the end of console's life? They were. They came out with a bunch of good games later on, while Xbox was focused more on Kinect. But at the same time, I genuinely think that the impact the Xbox 360 had at the end was still more than the PS3 at the end. Because, like, the Kinect to this day is still the best way to play, like, the Just Dance games and stuff. Meanwhile, the best things that happened on the PS3 were just like, oh man, look how good The Last of Us looks. Like, okay, that's barely a video game. That is a movie with extra steps. And that's how I feel about Sega's entire lineup on the PS5. They had God of War 2 and 3. Wasn't 2 on the PS2 though? And here's I have never cared about God of War, so like that's one where I can't claim anything, to be honest. That's one of those things where I'm just like, I have literally no say in the matter. My exposure to God of War is mainly just like a thought of the old ones look like pretty standard like 3D beat 'em ups, and then like the new games look like they're not games. That is my experience with the God of War franchise. Yeah, you're right, damn. Like, PlayStation 3 had some good games. I love Katamari Forever. That's a good one. Katamari is best played on PlayStation because of the controller, but at the same time, I'm just like, I can play Katamari on the PS2, and it's still the best Katamari. And, like, if I want to play Katamari in HD, there's the collection now. They pulled a pro gamer move and made you buy a whole new console to see the end of the cliffhanger from God of War 2. God. That's how people... That's how people must have reacted if they got the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild. And technically I did. I bought a Switch day one, and I still bought Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. Even though I had the Switch like version of Breath of the Wild longer, I still think I have put more hours into Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. It feels way more like it should have been a Wii U game than a Switch game. It feels retrofitted. One of the few things the PS3 still is going for it is Metal Gear Solid 4. It's trapped on that console forever. And it always will be, because Konami hates all of us. Konami likes one thing, and that's money, but they also hate effort. Which is why the best things that Konami has done in recent years has been supplying Dead by Daylight with this many Silent Hill protagonists in one game. That is the only thing that Konami has done. Sorry, I'm paused not doing anything, primarily just because I noticed how dusty my frickin' desk was, so I've just been, like, instinctively cleaning it. They may actually fucking do it for Volume 2. That's good. We can hope. Apparently, Konami is supposed to be doing a frickin', Silent Hill 1 through 3 collection again, after that went so well the first time. Smile. If you've lost the source code for the games, you have to rebuild it. You can't just make a collection. I feel bad for the team that got blamed for the HD Silent Hill collection. It's not their fault. If they don't have access to the game's source code, and they have to rebuild it themselves, and they have the deadline of being a Konami game, like, I can't blame them for the way that turns out, you know? Ain't their fault. I don't understand how so many fucking developers lose their source code, but whatever. I'm not Mrs. Nintendo. I don't know this shit. You would think that, like, after NASA lost the fucking moon landing tapes, you would assume more companies would care more about their data, but whatever. Who give a shit? Apparently devs got MGS 4 to run on the Xbox 360 years ago. That's good. My favorite fact about Metal Gear running on other platforms is that 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. The PC port of Metal Gear Solid 2 was so bad, it could literally only be run on hardware that was, like, 1-to-1 with the original Xbox. It literally, like, would not boot up on AMD or ATI cards. It needed an NVIDIA GPU. It needed to essentially be an Xbox, but not. Companies are so good at doing things wrong. Now the game kinda run on modern systems. Kinda. It's like, you know the GTA 4 and Saints Row 2 thing about how they are some of the worst performing games like ever on PC. It's for the same reason. They were developed for consoles and haphazardly put out, and the further you stray from its original hardware, the worse it runs. It's incredible. I don't understand why companies keep doing this, or how they keep making this mistake. They do it every time. Then you have Bethesda games which were designed to run on PC but still crash every 45 minutes anyway. Yep. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Alright, I'm gonna head out. I'm going to clean my desk. Because I need to, like, move my monitors and stuff. So I'm gonna head out. So take care. And have a good rest of your day.